Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Mark. We're Mark chapter 7. Today we're going to start reading at verse 18. Now, in the last couple of sessions, Jesus has been involved in a discussion with the Pharisees. The Pharisees had criticized the disciples of Jesus for not following the traditions. And Jesus says, your traditions have taken precedence over the Word of God. And so he criticizes them for that, not emphasizing the Word of God, but rather the traditions they have developed. And in the midst of that, he talks about cleanliness as a matter of cleanliness of the heart, not of the outward forms. And so Mark makes a little parenthetical statement that Jesus thus declared all foods clean. In other words, what you eat is not what makes you unclean, but what comes out of your heart. Let's look at that in a little more detail as Jesus defines that cleanliness or holiness is really a matter of the heart. So verse 18, Jesus says, now don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? For it doesn't get into their heart, but into their stomach and then out of the body. Now, the specific, of course, was eating food without washing your hands first. That does not make you unclean or unholy. It's a ritual thing, but it doesn't affect the state of your heart. In saying this, Jesus declared all foods clean. And then he gives the specifics of what he means by heart holiness or heart cleanliness. Jesus went on, what comes out of a person is what defiles them. For it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from inside, and they defile a person. You see, the Pharisees were emphasizing only the externals, whether you washed your hands before you ate, the kind of food you ate, that sort of thing. Jesus says, no, look at the heart. Evil comes from within and proceeds from the heart. True cleanliness, true purity, true holiness is a matter of the condition of the heart. What is your heart like? For it is out of the heart that arises evil action. It is out of the heart that arises evil intent. It is out of the heart that arises an evil disposition. Holiness is a matter of what's in the heart, what's in the soul, what's on the interior of your life. So don't be so terribly concerned about the outward rituals, whether you washed your hands in the correct way before you ate or whether you maintained the proper rituals or protocols. Rather, look on the inside of the heart. Now, the Bible is always interested in that we, God's people, be holy. But holiness is a matter of the heart. God transforming our heart, making it pure and clean. When our heart is right, when our heart is pure by the transforming grace of God, then out of our heart will flow good and pure actions and moral deeds. Focus on the heart. The Pharisees had completely forgotten about the heart. They were only concerned with, did you wash your hands right? Did you follow the right ritual? You should have been concerned about what your heart is like. You know, there's another place in the Bible where they asked Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? He didn't focus on the rituals or the outwards. He said, it's to love God with all of your heart and mind and soul and strength. And then the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, when your heart is filled with love, it'll be holy. And then all of the actions that flow out of your heart will be of love. That will be a holy life. So focus on the heart. Cleanliness and purity and holiness and righteousness are all heart matters. Allowing God to change your heart and make it after His image. That's the important thing. We make a mistake, as the Pharisees did, when all our focus is simply on external rituals. Now, the rituals, the traditions, they can be good for us if they help us focus on our heart. But if they're a means to an end, they're the means to focus on our heart. But if they become an end in themselves, just follow the traditions, and we're not concerned about the heart, we are in trouble. That's what had happened to the Pharisees. So Jesus says, look to your heart. Let God make your heart pure, and then out of it will flow a purity of life, Let God make your heart holy, and then out of your heart will flow a holiness of life. Okay, I hope you join us tomorrow as we continue our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Mark.